Okay, Jiu-Jitsu was developed by the Buddhists like 2,500 years before Christ. The reason they learn some type of self-defense where they have to travel the world and they're not allowed to use weapons. Back then they don't have a gunpowder, so they fight hand to hand. So they learn a system of self-defense where they could defend themselves and travel around the world and open up to the world their faith, what they believe. So then, when that come to Japan, they thought that there was a strong way of this they could control because Japanese people are smaller. So then they split Jiu-Jitsu in three different ways, which was Judo, Karate, and Aikido. Which one is Aikido is more the torsions, the Karate is the strikes, and Judo is the throw and control the floor. So they forbidden teaching Jiu-Jitsu. But in the time of the war, a Japanese emperor flew to Brazil and his bodyguard went to this fight show and my grandfather was there. And then he saw a small guy beat a big guy and he got very interested. And luckily, my family was a royal family from Scotland and they learn, they have a contact because my great-grandfather got in contact with the emperor and asked the bodyguard, which one is Maeda, to teach my grandfather a little bit of self-defense because he's a problematic kid. He was the wide line which one become thinner. So when he learned that, he picking up some of his friends and he learned for a certain period of time. So when the bodyguard left to Japan after the war, all they migrate back to Japan and my grandfather didn't have nobody to learn from and his friends didn't want to train with him, so he said, I'm gonna teach my brothers. He has 4 extra brothers, so he teach all the brothers. And then he got this idea. He said, wow, man, this is a great thing, a good self-defense and a good way he make me change and can our family develop this. And then he has this great idea and develop the new style was the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then they start teaching generation to generation, and we're here now. I started Jiu-Jitsu, I would say in 1972, under my father tutelage. So he was my teacher, along with the instructors he has at the school. Fernando Pinduca was a teacher, Mario Cupertino, but the main instructor was my father. My father always loved kids class. It was a great experience for me, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was a bunch of savages, loved to fight, didn't like to get beat on the street. It started becoming a little bit popular a few years later because that's when it started the tournaments, Mm-hmm. So it was a few schools in the world, Rio de Janeiro especially, and one tournament a year. And very rough because many of the rules now they have in the tournaments, back then was not. No. So the only thing was not allowed is punch, bite, poke in the eye, kicking on the balls. It was kind of almost MMA, but no rules. Okay. And heel hooks was not allowed. Yeah, but ripped, all these things, about hit the guy in the ground, they say they slam, everything was allowed. Yeah, it was, how to say, closest to MMA could be. Well, back then, I think the big change was become very professional, Back then, we are professional our way. We try to prove Jiu-Jitsu is better. But now, there's so many companies, there's so many people investing money. People can make money doing Jiu-Jitsu. Back then, we don't make no money. We just do for prove our school is better than the other, our style is better than the other. I think the big platform of all of this was the development of the IBJJF and the UFC come. This is the both things actually build up strong the sport because there's no MMA without Jiu-Jitsu. You'll be striking or punching and kicking, match, but it's very rare somebody throw a punch and the other one get knocked out. So they go to the ground, and wrestling is not that fun. It's not entertaining like submissions. So I think that was a big platform, and with that platform, people start seeing opportunity of making money on it. And many schools take different ways to approach in business, and some other people just do for fun. So literally that's the way it goes. But back then to now, It's a big difference. Back then, we just tried to prove jiu-jitsu is better than other martial arts. Nowadays, it's already established there. So now they're looking up to the best way to support the clientele, regardless the way they are looking at, and some other people looking up to a financial way. So it's a, back in the days, like very common, because did not have a jiu-jitsu tournament, okay, unless it was intern tournament on the Gracie School. So mostly common technique was the matalhão, the famous matalhão, because nobody knows how to fight with the back on the floor. Okay. So when it comes to any kind of match where you fight a karate guy, basically you take them down, you pass the guard because the guard don't exist, you put the knee on the stomach, you start striking, they turn to the back and you choke. It's pretty much that's how it goes. Then with time of development, things change. Nowadays, like I said, if there's no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's no mixed martial arts. For 1910s, lessons went around, my grandfather started learning. Then we start getting fights on 1930s and 40s. 40s, they started the fights. And then the family got very famous after the 50s. 40s and 50s start becoming super famous and dominate until 70s. And then everything else calmed down. And then everything coming back with the Vale Tudo in Maracanã in 1985 where Pinduca fought Marco Ruas. And 1991 when they have the confrontation between Luta Livre and Jiu-Jitsu. And then explode in 1994 with the UFC when Royce shake the world, a small guy choking and submit big guys, and then everybody, wow, what is that? And then, well, I think many people is a little bit scared of jiu-jitsu. I think it started grow more in the middle of 80s where some companies started sponsor tournaments and they start becoming popular, and regular people like rich people start looking for getting to tournaments and become like a little bit famous, allegedly famous on jiu-jitsu. So, and then start becoming more popular. And I think people start figure out it wasn't that rough like the people make look it out. Okay. Jiu-jitsu is not rough at all. That's my point of view. If you don't want to break your arm, you should tap. If you don't want to sleep, you should tap. So if you don't want to break your bone, just give up. But the problem is many people have an ego and they don't like to tap, and then they get injured. My dad always say to me, Junior, jiu-jitsu change the person. Get the extreme to a thin line. If you're too aggressive, you become calm. You're too soft, you become strong. So you picking up a wide and become one thin line. You can see the prototype of people jiu-jitsu is very calm people. So they have a self-confidence, they understand about the capability, and they understand that they are a platform to help other people. That's the main reason now jiu-jitsu grow all over the world. This is the main thing. What I feel about myself is like I'm a summer person where people always gonna look for knowledge, experience, and they don't want to hear what I have to say, and I have always to say something good to them. I have to support the goals regardless which one it is. Not everybody looking up to be a champion. 26 years, 1993, that's when I got my black belt. Okay. Yeah, the black belt is just a black belt. Like I said, my father's school, so many tough people, man. Like the blue belts could be black belts back in the days, So when I got my black belt, the blue belts give you a rough time. So you have to get in your toes and move, You cannot sit in the chair and look around, say, I'm black belt now. So that keep you in your toes. You're always active and training hard. Never change because, believe it or not, until today I still learning jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu evolves so much. I learned so much with this new generation. They have a very bold game. They do crazy things. Some stuff I cannot do, but I should be aware of to be able to teach for my students. It's not something I would do. Maybe my body will not be able anymore, but you have to get the knowledge. Jiu-jitsu teachers are living life of learning and teaching. So you got to know, otherwise you stay behind. Well, I think it did and not. You know, yes and no. In myself did, but it's never come out for outside. It's more for me because first of all, I want to honor my father's name. Is it's one thing. It's Gracie and Carlson Gracie. Carlson Gracie was the biggest developer and was the biggest name in MMA and Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Everybody knows Carlson Gracie like as know Helio Gracie. And the new generation, they know Hickson and Renzo, all my cousins. But me has my same name than my father, always a compromise to myself to actually do good. As a person, as a teacher, as a competitor. So, but that pressure never come from my father. Always from me. My father, believe it or not, if I win or lose a fight, he never tap in my back say you did it better, you did it good. He say you did what you could. Because my daddy looking up for your heart. He didn't looking up only for results. He wants you win. But for him, turn you like a little bird to a big rooster was a big goal for him. He wants you fight hard. Because that's is the goal of life, You try get the best of you and everything. So that's why Jiu-Jitsu nowadays is so good for people, because so many people, they don't find the inner. So that's come out when you start learn how to do Jiu-Jitsu, because you fight the whole time. It's a different feeling of a Muay Thai or karate, or because you get strike in the face, you just get angry. In Jiu-Jitsu, when you resist a choke and you get out, they give you a big power, and you try come back. Now it's my turn. So it's up and down all the time. So you don't get angry. We get stronger. So that's my father goal. Bring the best of you in there. Winning or lose, as long as you fight to the end, that's what he wants. Yeah, that's what get your mind strong. Resisting to things. Don't be easy. But not letting people push you around. That's what I say. The wide become thinner. It's like if you're too aggressive and you're a bully, you're going to stop to be like that. Because somebody in the academy is going to beat you. And when you're too weak, you're going to get power and you're going to get stronger, mentally stronger. That's the most important. Let me just, for the record, back in the days on the Gracie School, was a 2 belts. Was a white and light blue. Whoever has dark blue was a teacher. So it was a 3 belts. Then it became the system of the belts where they come the white, yellow, green, orange, white, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, and black. And then they created the degrees. Okay, so what I think is this: sometimes people get exposed to Jiu-Jitsu, they get the opportunity to learn Jiu-Jitsu, and they fall in love with Jiu-Jitsu, but they get a certain level where say like, oh, you can't teach. As long as that person, even if he's not a black belt, if he's seeking for knowledge, he's in the right way. But if he just get a belt and he get affiliated with somebody where every 2 years he call the guy, oh man, it's time for my black belt because the federation said through the curriculum, that is wrong. But if you're seeking for learning, knowledge, where you take your time to go places, to Brazil, here in Europe, United States, or whatever place in the world where they have some qualified black belt, where you have a contact with him, and you be learning from him on the regular basis, because this is a time investment. Financial is a different part, but I always tell my students, you sign up in the academy, it's the same thing you just sign up on the college. You're gonna graduate someday. So you have to study. So if you're looking up to get better, you have to go for somebody. Not sit at home and watch YouTube. Many people try learn things from YouTube. It's wrong. That's wrong. I understand if you look one technique here and there for somebody you have a contact with, or you follow somebody program, which one you follow him in person. I understand that. But you never see me and you see my program in online and it's all Carlson technique, but you never have a contact with me, I think it is a little bit off.
Okay.
But everybody have to get a place to learn from, and everybody got aware what jiu-jitsu was. Well, the first thing you have to believe is yourself. If you not believe in you, nobody will. Preparation, is part of the game. So that's what going to prepare you to get your mind strong. Okay. Sometimes people have the mind strong, but you don't have the right preparation. That's all drift away. So I think the best way I would say is, a good training partners, understand about win and lose because it's part of the evolution, and always feel confident about yourself. Because you are human, the other person is a human. He better than you today, but you could be better than him as long as you believe in yourself and you get the right training. Preparation, right food, sleep good, get a good training partners, train your prepare your techniques, get a setup game for evolve, in the conditions of the fight. But never think nobody better than you, because nobody's better than you if you believe in yourself. Like I said, fight to the end, not quit. Well, it's changed a lot now. When I started to swim and jump in rope, but now require a good physical training. You have to lift weights and in the certain ways, not too hard and not too easy to become a professional, because that's required right now. Like so many athletes are professional. You have to get a nutritionist and you have to get a physical trainer. You have to train it technically and you have to spar in certain ways, and is more professional. Like I said, back in the days we just trained hard and go there as hard as we could. So I think this new level start after 2000, where people start see in different way. But back in the day, we talk about here, say like when I began, I was in the middle of the way. Before me, it was too many good champions and people don't even hear about. So jiu-jitsu, when it comes to my hand, was already established and is already proved was the best style. I just surf the wave together. I'm in the middle, but I live with them because I start so young. I still have a chance to train with my father and training with Carlson Gracie, the famous Carlson Gracie. I have a class with him, a training with him. So I got right in the moment of the development and change and become a stronger, sport and fight style, and now become very professional. So I got lucky with that. So many of the people just got now, sometimes we get the best part, but that's why I always say for the young people, and I think many of them start understand that so many people work hard, even prior me, to get to where we are now. Mm-hmm. So we getting the best, Well, my father's school was training everything, That's why I become the champion factory, because my father was the guy, for many years, not only fight MMA, like they call the Vale Tudo back in the days, to defend the name of the family, and become the guy training the best fighters, which one develop and explode the mixed martial arts all over the world. So numerous numbers of names come through my father and training with my father. So I'm very glad to be his son, very honored to continue his legacy. And I'm very happy to so many people follow me and appreciate what I do and support me, So I'm just follow his lineage and his legacy and try to prove to people, and they already know that, but we have to continue for this never die, People try to get to the Olympics. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but jiu-jitsu growing even more. So now we getting in anything, we army, police training, with people with Down syndrome, people, for everything, bullying program, everything, everything. So self-defense is becoming very important. People start love self-defense. The MMA part need jiu-jitsu, and people need some kind of lifestyle some guidance in life, whereas day to day, you probably go almost every day to the gym, to training. So it's better than go to the gym to lift weight and the other thing else. So I think people looking more something where they can work their whole body in one and get some kind of philosophy behind. People need that. So I think jiu-jitsu in the future is going to take over all over the world. Everywhere is going to have somebody practicing jiu-jitsu.
I hope so.